Robin here from Silver Garden Club. Hey, I'm going to show you how an old woman, a great grandma, puts together a land guard 6x3x3 raised galvanized garden beds. I have another video coming up telling you why I chose this, but here's how you put it together, okay? It took me about 2 hours. If you have two strong people, you can probably get it done in an hour, maybe an hour and 15. Right? You need the instructions, and there are no instructions. I'm just telling you, there are no instructions. And I'll give you a couple tips along the way. Here's the first one. When you're buying raised beds, here's the deal. A lot of folks buy the wood beds or make their own wooden beds, but if you can afford the galvanized and the metal, everything I've researched shows that's the best, right, for long term. If you can't afford that, do the wood. If you can't afford that, put it in wheelbarrows. Heck, anything that helps your back. I chose 6 foot long by 3 foot wide by 3 foot deep. 3 foot because so I can reach from both sides without straining my back. 3 foot deep. I'm going to put pool noodles on the top of the beds so they won't scratch or whatever. And then I want to let you know. You would think that a 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot bed is the same square foot area for your plants and for soil, but it's not. I bought 2 rounded end galvanized beds, land guard. These are all land guards, just because they were cheapest on Amazon. And here's the scoop: the 3 foot deep that I got, it was mainly for my back. And, I have some ways that you can save on soil and all that. But, for instance, strawberries only need like 6 inches to 12 inches. So you're not going to need the whole 3 foot of soil. But in a rectangle 6 by 3 by 3, right, it's 18 square foot or 54 cubic foot of soil. In an oval 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot, which means the ends are circled, half circle, oval, you actually lose 2 foot in each bed of planting space. But your soil is going to save you some bags of soil, right? So you have to think about that. If you're only getting one bed and you only have so much room, are you going to be able to get around if it's square? Or do you want oval where it's a little smaller, a little easier to get around? So think about that when you're buying them. So this is how to put together a land guard galvanized raised garden bed. Okay, you ready? Here's what, sorry folks, here's what you need, right? Get these supplies together. You're going to thank me for that, okay? You're going to need, and you can take a screenshot when I put up paper like this. Here's what you need. It's simple. You're going to need to have a hammer, and I get a 16 ounce, I have a 16 ounce. And just so you know, I only spend money when I have to on things that last, and this 16 ounce hammer is going to last me the rest of my life. You need a little weight to the hammer, especially if you have back issues or you're a little older or you're just moving a little slower, okay? You're going to need, I have some type of old glove. If I need a hammer or mallet, something, I just put this on top of the steel. These beds, it says they're steel, but I mean, I thought they'd be super heavy and super taut, but they're not. They're more plasticky. I know that's not a word, but they're more plasticky, and they're just not as heavy as you would think, and you also don't want to be hammering on them. So I would, if you're going to hammer something out, because I mean, listen, they're all going to come with a little bit of damage. I don't care how well they pack them or who brings them to you. They're all going to have a little spot that's going to need hammering. So you need something between the hammer, whether it's a towel, an old glove, whatever, okay? You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, Phillips, for these land guards. And I always have scissors around because you never know. Pair of gloves, of course. These beds are super sharp. Listen, I break the rules. I don't do what you're supposed to do, but I'm telling you right now, get some gloves. These gloves I buy these off Amazon. I buy 12 of them at a time. They're called Cool Job. I like these because I can throw them in the washer with my garden clothes for the day. right? They're easy breezy. Throw them in the washer and you keep using them. They're also light enough that you can handle things with them. Now, I always have a pen, and then you're going to get tired. You're going to need a seat to sit down on and get off your knees. You're going to need some Tylenol, just trust me, and a drink, okay? Also some music. It gets really boring if you're out in the garage or outside putting these together by yourself, okay? Now, the first step, right, and there's only 4 steps, but a couple are doozies. Step number 1, here you go. Take a screenshot of this, guys. You separate all your pieces. You get everything you need, get it all together, your supplies, and then you separate all the pieces that you have. Now this bed only has, I think, seven different pieces. That's it. But there are 120 bolts and washers, okay, plus another miscellaneous rods and things, so it's 150 parts or so. So you might want to do this, you know, an hour a day, 2 hours a day. It's the middle of February in northern Indiana right now, so I'm doing an hour a day. All right, there are bolts, washers. Here's a tip. The washers, I didn't know this, and probably the men who are watching this are going to be yelling at their screen right now saying, what's wrong with you? You didn't know that. But these washers, I don't know if you can get a close-up, but there are 2 sides. One is a kind of a rounded side. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then one is a straight, like a straight across, right? Well, these will only go on with the rounded side up, okay? So when you've got your bolt, and you're putting your bolt through, and this is why I'm telling you now, because when you're sorting and you put your bolts in a pile on your towel, put the round side up, okay? Because the round side will go on the bolt. If you turn it the other way, so the straight side's on the bolt, it won't go down. And it'll be irritating as heck, I'm telling you. Okay. Another tip, when you're at Goodwill on the 50% off days, which I know if you're an old person like me, you're there every time, get you some plain colored towels, a bath towel, right? And put all your little parts and things on that bath towel. And I say plain color because if you get something that has printing on it, it's going to be hard to see where the bolts and stuff are, okay? Defeats the purpose. So get you a plain colored bath towel and put your pieces out in piles. Get you a plain colored, like this old green one, king size flat sheet, okay? And what you do is you lay down your flat sheets, and it helps you see where all the pieces are. That way, if you lose a bolt, or when you're cleaning up at the end, you just kind of pull up the sheets, and there's all your extra parts in the middle, right? So I'm just giving you tips. Do that. Get you a bath towel and plain colored sheets, okay? Here's what came with, this is it. There's no instructions to these Landguard galvanized raised beds. These garden beds, I had to figure it out by myself. Well, with the help of my friend. But this is all they send you. And it's even difficult to tell what parts are what number and that kind of thing. So I'm going to try and name each part and the number and also give you more information. But I'm giving you complete instructions, exactly how to do the 4 steps. And trust me, you want to do them in this order. Trust me. It's so hard unscrewing these things if you mess it up. Okay? So this is all they're going to send you. That's it. All right. Now, step 2, and I said there's only 4 steps. Here's step 2. So you might want to take a screenshot. And again, these are the Landguard galvanized raised garden beds. Okay? Here's step 2. What you do is you put 2 of the, there are 6 of these panels, right? There's 6 panels. There's 2 side panels and 2 side panels on the other side. And then there's 2 end panels, right? So you have 6 of the big panels. So step 2 is you put these side panels together. And this is very important. Very important. I mean, this, what you do first, second, and third on this step is, I mean, it takes a long time to undo it. So what you do is you put the 2 panels next to each other on the ground. there's this long strip in your box, right? It's not very wide. It's maybe, I don't know, half an inch wide, but it goes to the length. It's about 3 foot. And you put that strip underneath the two of the panels, right? Now there's going to be holes on these side of the panels and holes on that side of the panels. This is the middle part. So just think about, this is the part that strengthens your whole bed, okay? Because if you don't have these strengthening rods in the middle of the bed, it's going to probably bow out from all of the weight of all the soil and twigs and all that good stuff. Your bed is going to bow out, and it's going to be a mess. So don't skip this step. You have to put these rods in, okay? These rods come with these little connectors. They're maybe, I don't know, 1.5 inches long, and they have like 6 sides on it, okay? And what you do, you put the 2 sides down, you put that skinny bar that goes all the way down on the back, and then on the first hole, you just put in a washer and a bolt, okay? Because every other hole going down this middle, you're going to put these rods in to strengthen it, okay? Let me say it again. The second step, you put this long bar that goes all the way down on the back of 2 panels. Then the first hole, you screw in just a washer and a bolt, right? And by the way, you don't have to tighten these really tight right away, because it gets, I do everything the easy way. Try to. So I tighten it all up at the end, but just make sure that your bolts and your washers are on tight enough that they won't, that they'll hold it together till you can tighten it all. So then the next hole, right? You have the bolt underneath. It goes through that thin side piece. It goes all the way down. And then you put the bolt through, and then you put this little connector and a rod. There's 18 of these rods, I believe, or 12. Let me see. There's 12 of these rods, okay? There's 18 of these little connectors. There's a reason why. So here's what you put the long piece under the back of 2 of the pieces, right? The first hole, you put in a washer and a bolt. Then every other hole, you put in this connector and a rod and a connector on top of that, right? And you only screw these connectors in about halfway down, because you're going to connect it to other connectors. I'll tell you that in a minute. Okay? So you got the long piece in the back, a washer and a bolt, then every other hole you're going to put the connector and a rod and a connector. All right? That's step number 2. Okay? Now here's another tip. When you're putting these together, don't just go straight down the row and put one in after the other, one bolt in after the other. Put the first bolt and washer in, tighten it up, and then go down to the end and put that washer and bolt in and tighten up. And that'll help you line up the holes to put all the rest of them in. Okay? Sounds complicated. It's not once you know what you're doing, which I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. Now, step 3 is going to be putting the ends together. Okay? As you can see, here's one of the ends. So here's what if you can see it ahead of time, this is going to be an end, and then you've got the middle 2 sections, and then you've got another end that you attach to the middles. Okay? I know. If you see a picture, you'll understand. Okay. So step 3, you put these ends together. This is just another piece of the big panel that you have, right? And you just put the bolts, show you. Put the bolts through this long wide piece, okay? There are 4 of these. It's about 5 inches wide. And you just attach these 2 end pieces to both of your end pieces, okay? So you do the sides with the strengthening, and you do the 2 end pieces, and then the last step, number 4, is putting it all together, okay? What you do is you screw these connecting rods. I'll just give you an idea. This, see, you can probably see it coming together now. All right, you screw these in like this, and that's the center. And then you put up, and here's a tip: if you're by yourself like me and putting it together, set one side up against, you know, a fence or a garage side or whatever. And then just to kind of give you an idea, here's the end. Okay. So the last step is putting it all together. You put these, same thing, just a bunch of these bolts. You bolt the sides to the ends, and you screw in the middle. Voila. Put the other end on, and you're done. Now, there's no bottom to these, and that's the way they were meant to be, and that's the way you want it. So look for my other videos on Silver Garden Club, and I'll show you the before and after. I actually have 4 of these beds to put together. 2 are rectangle and 2 are oval on the ends. It's a 634 square foot vegetable garden. Yep, I can only work an hour a day. I have the back issues, but if you want to save your back, you're just working slow, or you can't figure out how in the heck to put these land guard beds together, this is the video for you. Please subscribe, and you'll see what I do before and after in this vegetable garden. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. Hard as heck, but you'll learn everything I did wrong and what not to do. Okay? Thanks for watching. Please share, please like, and subscribe. See you soon in the garden. Bye-bye.